Well, happy Wednesday once again. And you know what Wednesday means. It's time for the pink link. Choo choo. And we have powerful, innovative, next level conversations here. So today I have another guest. Yes. So I'm doing this thing ugly in these streets. Streets with the K too, just like conversation with the K around here. And today I have Miss Michelle Greene, the Michelle Greene on Instagram, I know for sure, but I'm going to let her come on and tell you more about herself. Michelle, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Marquita. Hey, everyone. I'm so excited to be on the Pink Link on Wednesday, Hump Day. My name is Michelle Greene. I am the author of No More Big Butts. I am currently a part-time flight attendant. That's me, part-time. And I am working on building a brand around the Savvy Traveler. The Savvy Traveler encourages women to embrace solo travel as a luxe self-care experience and to do it safely, confidently, and easily. So anyone that has information or wants additional information, you can actually go to savvytraveler.com. You'll get a free starter kit, but I'm here to share inspiration, empowerment with everyone. So let's get it started, Marquita.
Yes, Michelle. Clap up for Michelle. Yes. So, Miss Savvy Traveler. We got to get into that because I literally been hitting you up about maybe taking my first solo trip. And so I just love what you do. How long have you been a flight attendant as well? Like, first let me ask that. So how long have you been a flight attendant?
Oh, it's been 22 years since I've been a flight attendant.
Wow.
I first started with US Airways back in the day, and then I took the leave after 9/11, started back on with another major airline, and I've been there ever since. So,
wow, amazing. So your experience, being a flight attendant and just traveling over the world has help you to branch into the Savvy Traveler. Oh, wow. Look at there. Like, she's full of, creativity. And you see how she did that there. You all are watching this from YouTube. Did you just see that? Did you catch that?
Yeah.
She has a picture in front of a plane right now. And I'm just loving it. So, Michelle, we got to get into it. So,
okay.
Look at her. She be flossing. Like, she's just much more than this Savvy Traveler. She is a savvy screener and setup and so much more. So you're being a flight attendant for 22 years. You have now used that expertise in branching out into your own entrepreneurship desires and goals to branch out into the Savvy traveling for solo, Savvy travel solo women. So just let's dig more into that. What does it mean to travel solo?
Well, a lot of us travel solo. We go on trips, sometimes for business, like in my case, for business. We do it to visit family and friends. We do it if we're having a business interview for a job or for an entrepreneurial venture. So traveling solo is usually, people have done it. Women have done it for so many years, but I like to include the self-care element to it because we do so much for people. We are mothers, we are wives, we're daughters, we are neighbors. We help so many people. And for those of you that have flown before, you've no doubt heard the announcement that we make in the event of an emergency, put on your oxygen mask first. However, as flight attendants, we attend an annual training. And as many times as people say, put on your oxygen mask first before helping others, we are trained to put on our oxygen mask first before we help you, because we cannot help you in a decompression if we're incapacitated. So as much as people say, put on your oxygen mask first, I put on my oxygen mask first at work. And I love to say, take care of yourself first so you can take care of those that you love.
Wow. Wow. That makes so much sense. Like we see each other because the brain good one for me, you have to be selfish unselfishly. You get what I'm saying? And it starts with you being able to do for you first so that you can be better to do for someone else. If you're not good, you can't help those passengers, if forbid, if you not breathing, to help them to be able to help themselves. So I so love it. And so how many solo trips have you taken? Like, just fill us
in. I've done maybe, I'd say maybe over 20. And that's like outside of work. I've done like my own solo trips. I remember my very, very first trip solo was to Miami Beach. And that's where I recommend that people do something close by. If you are afraid, and that's natural, there's nothing wrong with being afraid. Fear is an element. Fear keeps us sharp. It keeps us on our guard. If you're afraid to solo travel, I recommend doing something in your own town. Do something in your city. Do something. You don't have to go international. Travel is what you make it. And because we're doing it for solo, for self-care as a self-care experience, it can be anywhere. There's ways you can go across town, you can go across the world. So if you're afraid, I do recommend that you start with a staycation in your city or town, go close by. That way, if you get scared, you're not too far from home. And and it's a lot more cost effective to get started close to home. And that's your first foray into the world of solo travel. Now, I also, it's funny, as we start getting older, our fears start to get the better of us. And that's when I realized that I want to get back out there, because life happens and you just get comfortable and you're just living your life. And I said, you know what? I got to start back traveling. And I remember the way I started back traveling was unintentional. A friend of mine and a family friend, we were headed to Tokyo. And we were going to meet at New York. I'm in Connecticut. We were going to drive to New York. And I remembered I got in line and we're so excited. We're like, we're going to Japan. We're going to Japan. And this was several years ago. So we get in line at Japan Airlines in New York and at JFK Airport, getting ready. I open up my passport, getting ready, getting all my documents ready for the gate agent, for the ticket agent. And I looked down and my heart sank because I grabbed my husband's passport.
Wow.
So there was no way that I was going to go. I didn't have time to drive back to Connecticut. It's 2 hours and then drive back to New York. So I was not able to fly out to Japan at that time. And I went home and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to go back. My friend's like, please come back. We're in a group. Like, we're going to miss you. If you don't come, Michelle, you got to come. So my husband goes, you should come. And at that time I was like, I don't know if I can fly all the way to Japan by myself. That was an eye-opening experience because we have this interpretation or this view that people are gonna like get us. Yes, that's what happens when you watch TV. You see all the movies, you see all the dun dun dun. But in general, people are kind, people are helpful. And if you come with that spirit of not knowing everything and being considerate and being respectful of cultures, that trip, the next day, I did fly to Tokyo the next day. That trip on my own, 10 hours, made me realize, I can do this. I can do international trips. I don't have to have someone. And that's where a lot of the nice things about solo travel is we want people to go with us, and that's great. So those girlfriend getaways, amazing. Those family trips, wonderful. Those romantic getaways, you need those. But sometimes when you need time for yourself and you don't want to wait for a group, you're waiting for a group and they're like the last minute saying, well, girl, my car died, or, the kids need money for that school trip, so I can't go. See, when you're doing your solo travel, you don't have those issues. You make the dates, you know your money's paid. And if there's anyone that bails, it's you bailing on yourself, not someone else bailing for you on you. So those are just some of the benefits that traveling does. It instills confidence. You have to be resourceful because sometimes you don't have all the resources, but it forces you to look inside yourself. You have to project that confidence. You have to project that this is something that's, even though it's for travel, it's going to come back into everyday life. So it's not just about traveling and seeing the world and great food and experiencing different cultures. That is amazing. But the real gift of travel is the experiences that it gives you, the memories that it gives you, and the confidence that translates into your everyday life, whether or not you get on a plane, a train, or a boat ever again. That confidence and those memories will last you a lifetime.
Wow. Such amazing story. I mean, like, wow, 10 hours to Tokyo. And that just reminded me when you said it can be home. About 3 or 4 months ago, I left my home. The kids was, doing the most. And I'm like, know what? Let me do the most. And they wasn't home alone, but I literally got me a room in my area, and no one could understand it. They was like, by yourself? You ain't take nobody with you? No one else could fathom like doing that by themselves. Yes. And so, but like you said, nobody's trying to get us. People watch the news and thinking, oh, you go by yourself, somebody watching you, somebody. No, you don't need that energy. When I went, it was like, I'm going to be good because I'm protected by the best. And literally, it was like confidence building. It built confidence to know, like, I moved to Atlanta with just myself and my children. So, that was another step, but it was a move, and no one could fathom or understand how and why. You just got to go for it. Get your solo traveling on. Get your solo thing on. Like Michelle said, it's good to do all that, family, the friends. And I missed out on a trip because the other two people didn't have the funds, and instead of taking the trip like I started to, I ended up turning them around. So, when it's you, sometimes you still go for it. If they back out, don't you back out on you. You still go for it. I think it was a lady that went to Jamaica. She ended up over there by herself because everybody that was supposed to go canceled on her for her birthday. And that was just reminding me when I was going to Memphis from Mississippi. It was like 2 other people, and they canceled on me en route. Like, oh, we ain't got. I'm like, well, how y'all expect to go? And instead of still going, I let them help me back. And life is too short. Live your life. Listen to what Michelle has to say. Like, just share an experience with, other cultures, if you could, to kind of ease people's mind. If you can go back, maybe the room or, the treatment that you've received when taking this solo travel to, just enlighten and broaden the listener's mind.
Yeah. The thing about it, like I had touched on earlier, people are so helpful. And if you come with that spirit, like I mentioned, people are so willing to help you. But there's something else that I want anyone that's contemplating a solo trip. And if you're afraid, I think your family is more afraid for you. Your parents are more afraid for you. Maybe your spouse, oh my gosh, you want to go without me? And I'll talk about that in a little bit. But there's so many things that come with solo travel. Your gut is your GPS. And so many times, I don't know how many times we look back and said, I had a feeling about this and I ignored it and I wish I didn't. And I have come so much to trust my gut because I took the flight. That picture that I showed earlier, that was for a delivery. I took delivery. There was 7 of us. That's when you go to the factory and you bring the airplane back from the factory. Brand new plastic all over it. So on my way to Frankfurt, that's where the Airbus factory is in, Frankfurt, Germany, I was taken it's called the S-Bahn. So I got off the plane and everything, cleared customs. They don't even do much with customs there. You just flash your passport. That was back in the day. You flash your passport and you just go. They're like, go. I got on the S-Bahn. Everything was fine. I had all my directions. And that's another thing. You want to be totally prepared. You want to have things on your phone, but you also want to have your backup. You want to have your paper because paper doesn't run out of battery. So I had everything going. I was on the right train. I checked to make sure. I always checked the stop right before the stop that I needed. So everything was going great, feeling good. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in Germany, blah, blah, blah. Get off the train. Everything's going fine. Now I had to take the tram to the hotel because I was staying at the Frankfurt Marriott. And they said the tram runs right in front of the hotel. And it's only like about 2 minutes away, 2-minute tram ride from the train station. I got on the tram. I sat there for about maybe, I would say about 30 seconds, a minute. And I get this feeling in my stomach. And I'm like, I go another minute. 3 minutes in, I said, I think I'm on the wrong tram. I think I'm on the wrong tram. That was my gut telling me. So I got off, got back on the other side, took the tram going the other way. And that's something I didn't double check. Which tram should I take? Took the tram going the other way. And in about maybe 4 minutes, because, I went 3 minutes out of the way, about 4 or 5 minutes later, I looked up, there was the Marriott, and I was like, I did it. I took all the information in a foreign country in Germany, speaking German. Of course, they speak German, but the train announcements are in German because I took public transportation. All of these things help you, especially for building businesses. We become resourceful. The thing about it was, when I was listening to, and of course, I don't speak German, but I always get a couple of phrases so I can be respectful. I noticed that I was sitting on the train, even though I was listening to the announcements in German. And of course, it sounded like she was saying, like every time a stop came up, she would say like, "Nächsten stoppen." That's what it sounded like to me. So in my mind, I said, you know what? When they're speaking their German, whatever, like "Nächsten stoppen" sounds like, it sounds like next stop. So this is how you become integrated, you become involved, become integrated, and you're just engrossed in the culture and the language. Even though you don't know it, you can assimilate things because it sounded like next stop to me if I was to try to speak German, but I don't. So all of these little things, following your gut, knowing that your gut, when you feel like, oh, I don't know if I should go down this street, that is your gut telling you. It almost never steers you wrong. You have this built-in Polaris. Use it to serve you.
Yes, I agree. So, after just picking up on that, I can't even say it, but
I don't even know what it is. It just sounded like next stop when she said "Nächsten stoppen."
Just being in tune and aware, really be in awareness when you visit, especially, international, just being able to just maneuver through the culture and, really having that GPS, as you said, that gut feeling, knowing, hey, this is not feeling like I'm going the right way because he said 2 minutes and I'm been on this thing for 4 minutes and I'm not in my hotel.
Yeah.
So just being in tune, being aware and things of such. So now let's get to the next part. The hubby, you mentioned in that the hubby was like, so you want to go without me? You say you're going on this nice trip without me? Boom.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Most husbands, and I'm not generalizing, most men, not all, but the majority of men, they're not really crazy about globetrotting. They're not really interested in traveling for. Like if you want to go to a cooking class, they don't care. If you want to take a candle making class in Provence, France, they don't care about that. Or go to a wine tasting. They're not interested in that. So when you're looking at your solo trip, don't pick somewhere that everybody wants to go. I mean, you want to go, but if your man loves sports and if you're saying, oh, I'm going down to, I don't know, like if he loves soccer and you're saying, I'm going to Barcelona, or Barcelona, as they say. And he's like, oh my God, I love soccer. I want to go. Well, you may have an issue, but the thing is, it's all in about the way you communicate it. You can say something like, if you come off and say, you know what, life's been really tough. The job's getting on my nerves, or the business has really been challenging, and I just need to get out of here for a couple of days. He's going to look at it like you're attacking him, or like, I'm being here with me is not enough. So sometimes it's all about the way you communicate. When we're on the flights, we don't like to command people, because no one likes to be commanded. No one likes to be told what to do. But people won't mind assisting you. So like, I know everyone has to put their seatbelt on. So I'm not going to say, put your seatbelt on. Not like that, but I always say something like, would you please put your seatbelt on? Or can you do me a favor when you get a chance, put your seatbelt on? Because now they feel like they're in control. So going back to like your hubby, your boyfriend, significant other, you can phrase it something like, it's been really tough, and I feel like I just need a couple of days. Now, here's the thing. You say, would you like to go away with me for the couple of days? Now, if he says, no, you go, I think things are good, that's great. If he says, yeah, I'd love to come, you can say something like, great, I think it'd be great for us to get together. Things have been really tough at work. Do you mind if I go for a couple of days before or after? So if you can tack it on, you can rendezvous before, you can rendezvous after, but you still get yourself and your solo travel. You get time to, maybe if it's just sit in the hotel, the beautiful hotel with a view of the ocean, or walk on the beach, or if you're into running, some great trails to run on. It's just that a couple of days. And when you first started traveling, I don't recommend more than like 3 or 4 days, because you're going to get homesick. You're going to get homesick. And I don't travel for long periods by myself. That's why I very rarely do any 4-day trips when I'm working. It's just too much, because I'll be sitting on my jump seat like, I want to go home. So I recommend 3 to 4 days at the most. This way, if he joins you before, you can go together. He can leave and you can stay on, or you can, which my preference is, I'll go a couple of days early, have him join me, and we rendezvous at the place. So it's all in the way that you phrase it. I know we're all adults, and people say, oh, you got to ask your husband if you can go away. No, because you're in a relationship. You make decisions together. You could say, is it possible that, I can take a couple of days, maybe you can take care of the kids for a couple of days. I just really feel like I need to recharge my batteries. Would you mind? And if he or she knows that you've been having a really hard time, they're like, I think that's a great idea. What can I do to support you? And it's just, remind yourself, it's all in the way you're phrasing. I know we're adults. No one needs to ask permission. But even sometimes when someone asks you permission, don't you feel much better than when you say, I'm going away on a trip? Or like, you think it's okay? Would you mind? Would you mind if I went away for a few days? It's just a little bit better. It's just the way we phrase things, the communication.
Right. Which continues to build that trust, and, being able to know that, hey, the respect is there. Yeah, mm-hmm. We're adults in a marriage relationship, however, but it's just showing that person, extending that kindness, the respect, that trust, and that love is there, and just being open with one another to say, hey, I need this time to me, which once y'all rendezvous together, I'm pretty sure it makes it more magical and awesome than you just, decide to want to just go and, put it on a more, I guess, it would be more toxic, because that may stir up something with that other person, and, make them question, the demeanor of you coming in or just doing without, being respectful of their, affection and love for you, mm-hmm. and, their caring of, what is it you're doing? And, not them being demanding. I wouldn't say that they would be demanding, because some people say, well, why you got to know? Because I'm grown. No, a lot of times it's because of caring, and we just want to know that you're going to be okay. And if you go with that type of mindset in the beginning, it eases them to be able to be more receptive of you going and building that trust is what I'm getting. So
exactly.
Yeah. So,
if you have issues in your relationship, solo travel in the beginning, it's not going to go over well, because there's going to be trust issues. But if you have a strong relationship, if you're friends, if you understand each other and you have a healthy bond, then solo travel can definitely enhance your relationship, because sometimes the best part of going home, of going away, is going home. My best days are like when I'm on a 3-day trip. I call it going home day. It's like, I'm going home. I start playing Stephanie Mills when I think of home. It's just like, it is the best part. So you allow the person to miss you, and then it strengthens the relationship as well.
Right. You got to, be able to have time for each other and have time for you. And when you come back together, it makes a better overall, fun. Magical.
Yeah.
So I just love it. I love it. And I'm ready to get my solo travel on, girl.
So where are you going?
Yeah, well, I've been in talks, with you personally about Hawaii and Paris. Dubai's on the list. I don't know if I'm gonna do all 3 of those solo, but out of the 3, I would like to do one solo. I know. So I was thinking maybe Hawaii.
Hawaii is great because it doesn't require international. It's part of the US, so it doesn't require a passport for people that are passport challenged at this point. So if you don't have a passport, I do recommend you start the process, because things are so backed up. The normal processing time is probably triple or quadruple. So if you don't have a passport, just start the process. Once you have it, it's good for 10 years. I would really recommend Paris. I think it's a really good solo trip. If you want to get out there, if you want to take cooking classes, if you love museums, if you love getting out and seeing, there's so many, contrary to what people think, there's so many different cultures. It's almost like the world, you will see a representation of the world in Paris. So you don't have to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be the only melanated person there. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is like United Nations in France. So Paris is also a great big city escape, as well as Hawaii for that beautiful tropical South Pacific flavor.
Wow. I've always wanted to go to Paris, but I just feel like when I go to Paris, I want to be booed up. I want to be out there with
I get it. I get it. I get it.
Love or romance, like
for your first time, absolutely. For your first time, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think
you can go, but think of it this way. You can go, think of these as scouting trips. You can do a scouting trip. You can go check it out. You can go see what it's like, especially if you're doing, here's something that I use a lot of review sites, but they have been gamified, meaning that companies will pay people to give positive reviews. So you're not for certain if the place is what it really is. And if you're planning like an anniversary, a big birthday bash, sometimes you're like, honey, I have to go on a scouting trip. I have to go to Paris and check out these 3 hotels and see if the area that I chose is exactly what I wanted, rather than dropping all this money and then getting there and thinking, this is what I paid like $1,000 a night for. So that's how your solo trips could also be discovery trips as well, and exploration trips. So yeah, if I'm spending a lot of money, I like to maybe just do like a very inexpensive hotel and just go check the area out. So
yes. So with the reviews and things of that nature, you said that they could be scouted. So, because I've had another experience. It wasn't a travel, but the reviews was up there, and then you get there and say, for instance, we're traveling, ways to Paris and such. How does that turn out? Have you had an experience like that where you?
What I do is I try to stick, and I know some people are like, I try to stick to major hotels. I know, this isn't sponsored or anything, but I know the consistency with Marriott and Hyatt. I know it's always going to be the same. Hilton is good, but Hilton can be a little off sometimes. And I had that experience in Dubai, where we left Dubai, we headed over to Abu Dhabi. It's just about an hour's drive away. I had a suite at the Hilton in Abu Dhabi, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a suite that's going to be great. When I got there, the property was so very old that I'm like, I'm not staying here. And guess where I ended up going? Back to the Marriott. I'm in the hotel on the Wi-Fi. I'm at the Hilton on the Hilton's Wi-Fi trying to make a reservation at the Marriott, because one of the things is that people will just, the managers will incentivize people to give positive reviews. You know, I was in the Dominican Republic. I was in Punta Cana. We checked in. On the back of, there's a little business card size, and it says, a size of a business card, and it says, please give us a positive review on travel, TripAdvisor. And I'm like, I just got here. You do that and you'll get like free Wi-Fi for the week. Now, who doesn't want free Wi-Fi? So of course it's going to be, oh, this property is amazing. And you have to show them the review, and then you get the code for the Wi-Fi. So it's totally incentivizing. And people are, you know, they're selfish. They're trying to get that. They're like, I don't want to spend like 120 for Wi-Fi, which I don't know why anyone would charge for Wi-Fi these days, but people are going to be incentivized to get things that they want. So what I do is I don't look at any of the 1-star and I 1-star reviews, and I don't look at any of the 5-star reviews. I primarily look at 3-star reviews, and I just look for a common theme. If they're saying the water pressure is kind of off, you know, I had a hard time with the hot water. If it's a consistent theme, you know, there's probably an issue with the water pressure if you love taking hot, long showers in the morning or at night. So whatever it is, I look for that overarching theme. I look for the one thing that everyone keeps commenting about, because the glowing reviews, you don't need to read the glowing reviews because you want to go there anyway. Then the 1s and the 2s, a lot of times those are competitors trying to knock the hotel or the service or the restaurant. They're trying to knock their service down. So if you look at maybe just the 3-star reviews, just the middle of the road, it'll give you a good idea of what the property, the restaurant, the attraction usually is about.
Wow. That was such a great perspective. Because, you know, you look for the 1s and trying to see, okay, should I go here? Looking at this, then you look at the 5s and you want to go there, and then, you know, that could be a lie. So yes, I love that. So I'm going for the 3s. I'm looking for the 3s.
Yes. The middle of the road.
Yes. So we're gonna ask you your next solo trip before we get ready to close this thing out. So where do you plan to go next? I'm up for Hawaii. Where is Michelle going? Where in the world is Michelle going?
I'm thinking Quito, Ecuador. It's known as in South America, Ecuador.
We cannot go past that. Quito, Ecuador. I don't even know how to say it. You can't just and go on. Hold on.
The city of Quito, 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 in the South American West Coast city of Ecuador. The reason I like Quito, I'm looking there, and the research that I've done, it's called as the land of eternal spring, meaning the temperatures, it's like the Goldilocks zone. It's not too hot, not too cold. And I love those cool spring-like temperatures. And it's just, I love South America. I love the vibe. I love how, you know, I say what I speak Spanglish, a little English, a little Spanish, a lot of hands to communicate. But I just love how warm the South American people are. You know, I've been to Colombia, I've been to Peru, I've been to Brazil, and I just feel like they're so welcoming, they're so warm, they're so polite. It's interesting, like my flight to Bogota, and when I first started flying to Bogota, I told my other crew member, I said, oh my gosh, I'm tired of saying de nada, like you're welcome, because every time like you serve a row, they're like, thank you. And unfortunately, that's not something we hear a lot of, but they're like, mi amor, gracias, mi amor. Can I have another soda? They're so polite and they're so gracious. So I think you'll find that warm. If you want to go South America International, I think you won't be disappointed in going down to South America. And I'm looking at Quito because another thing is they use the US currency. So you don't have to worry about currency exchange. You don't have to worry about any finance, any international fees on your credit card when you buy something. So it's kind of like a nice little transition for people that want to do a South American adventure, still don't have to worry about currency translations, and just know that the people are so warm and friendly.
Wow, wow. So Quito, Ecuador. Did I say that right?
Quito, Ecuador. Quito, Ecuador.
Quito, Ecuador. Okay, I got it.
You got it.
Okay,
Perfecto.
so I really enjoyed you stopping by the Pink Link. And so, we always have to make sure we ask you this. What is it that you can, give someone out here listening, to want to level up in a, next level in their life, whether it's, through travel or whatever? What advice or inspiration can you give to that person that's listening?
Travel is just one medium, and that's just something we do on occasion. But in your home life, just know that self-care and self-love is important. Everything you do can start from there. The way you take care of yourself, the way you interact with your family, your friends, your business associates, your coworkers, everything that you do starts with you being selfish in a good way by taking care of yourself first, so you can take care of those that you love.
And that is not selfish. It's only selfish when you don't do for no one else.
Yes.
So yes, I love it. Another thing, within 2 to 3 years, where do you see Michelle at the Michelle Greene doing at the Savvy Travel? What do you see? Where do you see yourself?
I see myself creating a community. I want to build a community. So I want to invite people. I have a free gift for those that are still here. It's a starter kit, and it's just ways that you can fund your travel on a budget. We always look at self-care declarations because we know it's important. And one of my favorite is a cheat sheet called Shift Happens, because we know what in life, shift is always going to happen, whether we travel, whether we're at home, whether we're running our business as an entrepreneur, whether we're in school, we're at work, shift is always going to happen. So I want to invite you to go to thesavvytraveler.com, get your free gift. I'm looking to build a community of like-minded women. I'm also thinking that we can eventually do retreats. That way, even though we travel solo, it's a time for us to get together and do self-care retreats. So that's on my horizon for the future.
I love it, lady. I so love it. I mean, Miss Savvy Show Off Traveler, because I just love when she transitioned into that, her screen. Like, I love it. I'm taking tips. I'm learning always from you. And it's just,
we're always learning. We're always learning.
Myself. Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
So tell people where they can find you at the Michelle Greene on Instagram. I know, but they want to hear from you.
Yes, you can follow me at the Michelle Greene. That's THE Michelle MICHELLE, and Green with an E on the end. I did buy the extra vowel for 300.
Oh wow! Amazing. So thank you all once again for joining the Pink Link. And I just want to leave you all with this. Your attitude of gratitude, helps you with your altitude. So wherever you're trying to go, even if you're having that rough day, always remember to be grateful for something and show that gratitude so that you can continue, elevating attitude, going higher. You have to be grateful where you are to get to where you're going. So I just want to leave you all with that. And it was a pleasure once again, Michelle, for stopping by, blessing us
Thank
with
you for
all
having
of your
me.
savvy travel and just stories. It's just great. Like, I'm ready to get to Hawaii. I don't want to get it wrong. Turkey, Ecuador.
Quito, Ecuador. Quito, Ecuador.
Quito, Ecuador.
There you go. You got it. You got it. You got it. Perfecto.
Okay. Well, I'm going to close it out. Have a great one. And we just appreciate you all for tuning in.
All right. Bye, everyone.